All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And we're gonna get going today talking about the Jimmy Kimmel appearance that Andrew Yang had last night. The Yang Gang is a house divided when it comes to their thoughts, their opinions, and their concerns, their excitement over this appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel show. So whether you thought it was good or bad, we're going to analyze. Cody, tell us what's going on.
So those of you guys who were unaware, Andrew Yang did appear on Jimmy Kimmel last night. He was on about 10 minutes, came on after Laura Dern. I believe, actually, if I remember correctly, Laura Dern's son, or Laura Dern mentioned her son was interested in Andrew Yang. So
hey.
Something along those lines. Now, anyway, what I actually want to talk about here is, and there's an article that was very interesting, because the actual thing, I could show clips, NBC does, or ABC doesn't typically like you showing late night show clips because they protect those. But the interview with Jimmy Kimmel and Andrew Yang wasn't totally out of character. It was the typical kind of dismissive, jerky, late night host appearance from Jimmy Kimmel. However, there was a few things that were said that I think... I'll go with them.
Got some booze?
There's a good way of putting it. Because again, Daily Beast just actually happened to be interviewing him. I believe it was Matt Wilstein, the senior writer. He just happened to be backstage at Kimmel that night, and he was going to interview Yang after the Kimmel appearance. Now, I talk about his major beef with MSNBC in the headline, but we'll go through, and he mentions how 30 minutes before, the Yang Gang and Yang roll up to the theater, yada, yada. They go through, we talk about all the stuff. Where it gets really interesting is when it comes down here. So, it says, Kimmel seemed to be a bit dubious of Yang from the moment he sat down. The host cracked jokes about robots coming to take our jobs and wondered why a non-politician believes he can become the 46th president of the United States. Why go right for president? Why not start with senator or representative, Kimmel said. Yang argued automation's happening too fast for him to wait. Robot trucks may be on our highways in 5 to 10 years. And I thought biding my time trying to climb the ranks. We just didn't have that kind of time. Now, in the middle of it, like I said, a lot of people, and we'll get into like kind of the reaction in a minute. A lot of people thought Kimmel was a bit rude and dismissive. He kind of always is. But he was actually rude and dismissive and kind of, I don't know if hostile was the word, but it was.
Well, I don't know if I'd say rude, but I think dismissive. Like rude would have been interrupting him, calling him names. I think rude is a little bit of a stretch, but he definitely did use a lot of very dismissive humor in order to, put Yang in his place. Again,
this isn't Rachel Maddow, it's Jimmy Kimmel on The Late Show. It's not my big deal. But exactly. I thought it was really interesting how he ended, because this is what got a lot of people upset specifically. There's a couple things he said during it where I was just kind of like, dang, that's kind of uncalled for and mean. Yeah. But anyway, he ended the interview by saying, I think you have some very interesting ideas. I don't think you're going to be president, but who knows?
That was wild.
What they don't mention here is he says, I don't think you're going to be president. Pause. Boos from the crowd. But who knows? Maybe you will.
Yeah, it was such a walk back.
I didn't think Trump was going to be president either. And I think Yang actually mentions that. So that was one thing. Now, before I get into a little bit of the reaction, a little bit deeper into some of the stuff that they were said, I want to get in really quickly. Because the interesting thing about having this reporter backstage, we actually got Yang's kind of initial reaction to the interview. So the interviewer goes on and says, it wasn't exactly how Yang wanted the interview to end, but at least it was over. I feel great now, Yang tells me in his dressing room.
I did my lift for the day.
I've done my lift of the day. A national late night TV interview. Yang seems to be tired and a bit distracted during a conversation as he watches a musical guest. He perks up when he sees a supporter wearing a Yang 2020 shirt in the crowd. So it's good. He notices, guys. He does notice. Asked if you think Kimmel was a bit dismissive in his final comments, Yang tells me, I didn't think much of it. Right now, statistically, he's correct, though I think he's underestimating our chances. The candidate, Yang, would go on to cite betting markets like PredictIt, which currently places him at an 8% chance of becoming the Democratic nominee. Right behind new entrant Michael Bloomberg at 11. Dang, money's coming in on Bloomberg over Yang. I didn't even know that. Check this more
that
often.
Was rough.
Anyway, Yang says, that strikes me as the most accurate predictor you could find. And if you think about sporting outcomes, how often do 5 to 10% outcomes happen in sports? All the time. He is correct. So Jimmy can be right that I'm unlikely to be president, but it can also be right that I have a far higher chance than almost anyone else, and far unlikelier things have happened. Both correct. And then he goes on to talk more about MSNBC and what MSNBC's been doing and the Yang Gang tweeting stuff. So interesting stuff. He goes on and keeps talking. When I ask Yang why I didn't bring the wars to MSNBC, so mainly gets into MSNBC after this. However, I thought this was funny. Why Yang didn't bring up his war in MSNBC to Kimmel's audience? He says, I was happy to talk about it if it came up, but it didn't come up, and I could see why he wouldn't want to bring it up. I do wonder a little bit if there's a sense of Jimmy Kimmel's like... Well, a little aside, me and Card know a guy who's a comedian, and he used to dress up like a reporter and go do spoof interviews as a reporter. And he noticed when people called him out for being a fake reporter, all the other reporters in the area would defend him because he's like one of them.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it was like with Jimmy Kimmel, where he's like, hey, you know what? MSNBC is one of us, okay? They're one of the
I
big
was
media.
amazed.
You don't come for them. Now, you notice CNN was like, CNN's all ears. Hey, come on, CNN. Tell us why MSNBC's awful. Maybe ABC's a little different. I'm not going to get into conspiracy
Well,
theory.
they're
I'm just
always
saying,
willing to
perhaps.
compete. But I was even amazed when Jim Acosta's press pass was revoked from the White House. Do you remember how many Fox News guys were like, "Oh, this is an assault on the press"? And it's like, no, shut up. He was just being rude, and he was disciplined. All right, this isn't an assault on the press. It's not like Obama who actually sent the CIA.
It's almost
after,
like everything can't be
members of the
viewed
press
through the
corps.
lens of partisan hackery, because sometimes,
Well, no, but I was amazed at how many people were just like, the press sticks together.
of course they do.
Of
course they do.
But it was more so that
Politicians stick together.
I don't know.
Waiters stick together.
Yeah.
Policemen stick together.
Yeah, I know, but I think that I think
Teamsters stick together. Like it's a thing, man. When you're part of a group and a profession and a community, you stick with your community. It's a real thing, and it's like I think what we're seeing a little bit of that was here. Because again, I want to just get back really quickly because the next thing I want to highlight.
Okay.
There was a little bit of, 'cause I saw some people specifically on Reddit talking about the Andrew Yang's appearance on Jimmy Kimmel. And I saw a lot of people in the comments because when I first watched it, like I said, I was like, it's your typical kind of Jimmy Kimmel dismissive, you're dumb, you're an idiot, what do you know kind of interview.
Yeah.
But I was going through some Reddit comments, and again, Reddit comments aren't be all end all, but a lot of people were pretty happy with it. I think Jimmy was his usual self. I don't know what the fuss was about. Yang did great. Keep it cool, Yang gang. Chill out. Only critique is he didn't mention examples of other jobs being automated away. I thought it was great. Andrew was fantastic. Jimmy asked good, easy questions, and he was able to get his policies across. So I do want to highlight here that it's not like everyone's freaking out, because something came across my Twitter feed I thought was interesting, and that was a message also posted on Reddit, and it says, "Do not harass Jimmy Kimmel." Word just came back, and this is from before the interview even aired. People are like, I don't know. I think it's because the Yang gang has got so mobilized online. Now, let's get to a second discussion.
And the MSNBC thing has kind of spurred a more combative side to them.
And they mentioned it. Like, MSNBC's been going on for a while. Like, Jimmy Kimmel being dismissive in an interview is what he does. I trust me, I'm sure Jimmy Kimmel's had someone on the running for president he likes more than Yang. He's nicer to. I would not be surprised if that was the case. But again, this isn't Chris Cuomo saying this was a straight news journalistic interview for president. It's the Late Show.
Yeah, exactly. It's meant to be comedy at the expense of the interviewee.
Exactly. He's trying to entertain people who, quite frankly, don't know who Andrew is and probably won't care who he is, because that's who watches television most part. No offense, no flame, people watch television. But the reason I wanted to bring that up, because I wanted to get into, I thought was kind of interesting thing about watching that was, obviously some people were upset, and there were some people who were very, very upset when they saw what happened with Andrew on the thing. But there was a lot of people as well thought it was a pretty good interview. And one thing I thought was really interesting of the interview that happened, I believe it's down here. Here we go. At one point, and this is what I want to get into, where I said it was kind of a little bit weird how Jimmy was handling the interview. At one point, Andrew Yang's talking. He says, he actually says, Jimmy Kimmel, are you afraid that the Silicon Valley people are going to kill you? I think he says that.
No, they're going to come for you.
He starts like take you out, like assassinate you. And then he goes, they're going to come for you. But one thing that's interesting is Andrew replies and says, well, no, because I have a lot like people endorsing me. Elon Musk, he mentions a few other people. And Jimmy Kimmel's like, well, is Elon Musk even an American? Even Andrew didn't push back. Someone corrected us in our comments on this. I just want to point out, Elon Musk's an American citizen for 17 years. 2002 he became an American citizen. So I thought it was funny that neither Kimmel nor Yang seemed to know on top of their head at the moment that because I always get in trouble with that too, where, for example, the only people, like, I just know they're technically from Canada. So I'll be like, I know they're, like, popular in America, but I assume that maybe they just haven't become a citizen yet because they're still Canadian. And every single time it's like, trust me, if you're wealthy and live in America, it's crazy how easy it is to become an American citizen when you're really rich. It really is. It's almost like, which at the same time, you show up to any country and say, hey, I'm really rich, can I be a citizen? They always say yes, you'll pay taxes, right? So, I mean, I can't blame the government for saying, oh, you're going to pay taxes? Cool, yeah, you can be a citizen. But it is worth noting that both Yang and I thought it was funny Yang didn't push back and go, well, actually Elon Musk's been an American citizen like since anyone in America knew who he was. So
true.
I mean I wasn't very old at the time, but I don't think anyone in 1999 was like, this Elon Musk guy really is I mean I don't know how old Elon even was.
I don't know if I'm going to use PayPal if he's not an American citizen.
Exactly.
But I renounce PayPal.
I did think it was worth noting that there does seem to be something going on now in the Yang gang a little bit. I thought the reason I wanted to highlight this too a little, this specific Reddit post is because there is this. I think this is basically what they're kind of saying in here. And they say right here, we're all hyped up on boycott MSNBC. So there are some people who want to lash out at every person who disrespects us. The situation is different. Kimmel has the right to his opinion. And the way we prove him wrong is at the ballot box. We must resist the urge to become a mob at every slight. So I wanted to highlight because there is definitely this excitement to when you, I mean, MSNBC is legitimately feeling this hit. They have this heat. They have people lying to journalists to publish fake news about what's going on because they are feeling the heat between Andrew Yang calling out MSNBC. I definitely do. And again, I wanted to highlight again the actual response because the response isn't pitchforks and torches and let's burn them down. A lot of it is, I thought it was actually a good interview.
That's a bad coping mechanism.
No, but a lot of people even said, I think it was good. I thought Jimmy asked some questions he was able to answer. And they are right about that. Yang did get to talk about what he wanted to talk about because of it. So I just wanted to highlight, there's a little bit of division here, but for the most part, with it being a, at times seemingly hostile, mostly it's kind of dismissive late night interview.
It was like,
I will say one thing, to throw my hat in the late night debate. I don't think he would have got that kind of treatment from Fallon. I think he's actually been on Fallon. He didn't get that kind of treatment from him because Jimmy Fallon's a good dude. Maybe an alcoholic, but a good dude. So I'm not saying he is or isn't. I've heard he is. I've read articles saying he is. I don't want to say he is or isn't, but he seems like a good dude. Jimmy Kimmel has been I posted this on...
You know Jimmy Fallon was one of my... oh, wait, no, I can't say.
No, but I posted this on Twitter earlier. If you guys haven't seen this video, I'm going to play it without any sound. Back when Jimmy Kimmel was in The Man Show, he did a bit where he went out and he got people to sign a petition to end women's suffrage. That's the kind of comedian Jimmy Kimmel is, so I'm not really too concerned when he's kind of a jerk to Andrew Yang. His whole thing is I'm kind of a jerk, but I seem reasonable, but I'm a jerk. Also, it's kind of his shtick, so I'm not too surprised by it.
Well, also, it's... The Yang Gang trend's very young. It's one of the things that we absolutely love about the Yang Gang. That enthusiasm, that energy, the creativity online, the memes, all of that, wouldn't trade it for the world. At the same time, one of the things that comes with age is an ability to temper that enthusiasm with understanding, and instead of rejecting negative criticism, accepting it and learning from it. Now, Jimmy Kimmel's dismissiveness, honestly, where's it coming from, Cody? It's coming from the fact that a lot of people haven't heard of Andrew Yang, and it's easy to be dismissive of the fact of somebody you haven't heard from.
I wouldn't be entirely dismissive of the point that Andrew Yang did come for, the media, and maybe Jimmy considers himself a part of that kind of media establishment, and he's like, why is Andrew coming for us? Does that make sense?
That could be. I'm not saying that's off the table. I don't necessarily have that same sense, but it's a possibility.
Could, and I'm not saying it is either.
Yeah, it's a possibility. But at the end of the day, you can't be... That's not something you could say about some of the other candidates with higher name recognition. And judging by how a comedian treats you, you can immediately understand what some of your weaknesses are. In fact, I thoroughly believe that the way a comedian makes fun of you is one of the most, tried and true analysis of your candidacies, strong points and weak points. It is a solid roasting. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's what he got. Okay. But at the end of the day, we used to listen to politicians and laugh at comedians, but now we need to do a better job of listening to comedians and then laughing at the politicians.
But I think a lot of people, like I said, going through Reddit, they seem to have done that. They said, Kimmel was kind of a jerk, but he's always kind of a jerk, so whatever. I thought Andrew did good.
Yeah, so there's that half that I kind of agree with. I don't think it was a bad interview. I'll tell you right now, I thought it was just Kimmel doing his kind of style and Andrew Yang. It was a little staccato, to be honest with you. I thought it was very like, okay, Jimmy, ask me a question. I'll give you a short answer. It took a little while for it to start feeling natural. I very much liked Andrew Yang's opening where he said, "Oh, don't call me that." I thought that Andrew Yang did a great job of not being a boring and passive politician. So I actually think it was great. I would have given it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I would have given it an 8 out of 10. I don't think it hurt anybody. I don't think it necessarily helped anybody. And I think it was great to see Jimmy Kimmel walk back I don't think you'll be president because of the boos that he had in the audience.
That was really funny. Yeah.
And what happened to Jimmy Kimmel, I think, is very demonstrative of what's going to be happening to more and more people in their ivory towers. MSNBC thought that they were sitting in an ivory tower, that they had the blessing of the establishment, and they were still the ones that were choosing who wins and who loses. Until Andrew Yang said, "Enough, we don't need you." And all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait a second. Oh, wait, but we actually do need you. We won't get views if you're not on our show. And his rebellion against MSNBC is a prototype for what more people, whether they're celebrities or politicians or whoever, need to be doing against the media establishment, because the media has been spoiled into thinking they're entitled to our attention. When in reality, in the modern media sphere, nobody is entitled. You can always go elsewhere to get your information. So MSNBC got a swift kick in the pants from Andrew Yang, and it looks like Andrew Yang is going to win that battle. I think Jimmy Kimmel getting booed by his own audience that is used to being on his turf.
I think it was the Yang gang.
It was obviously the Yang gang, but Jimmy Kimmel enjoys the fact that, hey, there's a producer whose sole job is to have 2 assistant producers that interview everybody waiting in line to see who's going to be enthusiastic and cheer. Have you ever been on these shows, Cody? Ever gone on the audience?
Yeah, they take your cell phone away. Or then they don't take it away. They make you not bring it, or else you have to go to your car and put it away. That happened to me twice.
Yeah, exactly. And you've gone through the process. Like at Ellen, there's 7 producers that are just in charge of combing through audience.
But a lot of people are financially interested in the success of Ellen.
So it's the bigger the show, the more producers are there making sure that this audience is going to be an enthusiastic audience. So when Jimmy says his jokes, everybody's laughing. Okay. So I think Jimmy is usually very used to always playing on a home field. And all of a sudden, whoa, there's somebody that didn't like something I said. Holy smoke. That was a swift kick in the pants that I think more media people are going to be getting as Andrew Yang gets larger.
Yeah. Or at the same time, it was the other angle of it's just Jimmy was just kind of ending with the joke of like, I don't think you'll win. And then people booed and he was like, I don't really care about that opinion anyway. So I'll walk it back. You know what I mean?
So
that happens a lot. People are like, oh,
I'm not committed. I'm not committed to this.
Someone will just be like a bloviating, like a comedian who just says stuff and they're like, oh, you walked it back. It's like, yeah, because I didn't even mean it. I just said it because I thought it would get a laugh. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what we saw here with that. But I don't want to spend forever. The only reason why I thought it was interesting talking about this specific appearance, because one, we got to get Yang's actual immediate reaction through an interview, which is interesting. Yang's done Instagram lives and stuff after the fact, but I don't know. It is kind of interesting to see what his initial takeaways were after the interview. 1, and then 2, I did see some kind of a little bit of divided. There were some people that were very upset, but it did seem overwhelmingly like the Yang gang was more like, it's Jimmy Kimmel, it's what he does. So I just thought it was worth noting. There was some initial people who were very upset that it happened, but overall, it seems to most people have agreed to be a pretty good interview for Jimmy. A good interview for Yang. Jimmy was just being Jimmy, but I thought it was funny I thought it was not funny, but it was worth talking about exactly kind of what they were talking about. Why, if you heard it was a bad interview, why people thought it was bad. If you heard it wasn't bad, why people didn't think it was bad. And I did think it was funny when Jimmy Kimmel, when Andrew Yang said, I'm not a politician, he said, well, like if you're someone who juggles, you'd be a juggler, right? Like, like if you're running for president, that'd make you like a politician, right? I thought that was kind of funny. So I thought that was,
if you did magic, you're a magician, right? I think that's exactly what he said. Yeah.
So anyway, that was that. Next thing though, Carden, that's something interesting for you.
Okay, hit me.
So one of my favorite things is when I go to a website and it looks way different than I thought it was going to be. But Yang 2020 does this all the time because they typically launch new initiatives and stuff through the website. Now, this is really interesting. This is something I started, I think, 2 days ago, maybe a day or so ago. It's on yang2020.com. It's hashtag Pledge for Humanity. So the idea was take the Pledge for Humanity from 11/26 to 12/1 and pledge 1 hour of your time to do something great for humanity. Share your pledge on the social platform of your choice using the hashtag Pledge for Humanity and make your pledge a reality and take action. And you can continue. Now, I thought it'd be fun to go actually see what people are posting on Twitter. It's my social media platform of choice for Pledge for Humanity. How many people are actually taking it and doing it and what they're doing.
Okay.
So I have the tab open right here.
Ooh. I like what I see.
Yeah, so we'll start off. Someone spent an hour
cleanups happening.
cleaning up my local park and bike trails. By the way, that's probably the best. A lot of people are doing trash pickup. That's the best way to give back to your community. Everyone litters, so just pick up because the government won't do it.
I don't litter. Not Californians.
Let's see. Now, a lot of people are still talking about taking the pledge, people retweeting, and that's kind of what I want to highlight. That's what I was afraid this was mostly going to be. We'll go to latest to see if it's any different. It's mostly going to be other people telling everyone about it. Because it was tough to do. So I really do want to shout out. I mean, this guy here.
Young American. Shout out to Young American.
An hour cleaning up my local park and that's very cool, man. Because again, like I said, you want to get back to your community really quickly and easily. Some of this stuff will sit here for like everyone walking outside and you go like on a walk. I don't know. We have like little walking trails and you see like a bag of chips that's clearly been like just sun beaten for like 4 weeks and it's like just completely pale. The colors are out of it. It's like wow, no one picked it up. So again, I'm not the biggest anti-litter guy ever.
We wait until winter.
I didn't want to highlight that. Yeah.
We wait until winter to venture from the trails for fear of rattlesnakes.
But then a lot of people also just haven't post pictures. I want to point out this guy. This guy says, this is humanity first. I pledge as a mental health professional to continue treating my patients with their mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. Goals: try to leave the world a better place than I found it. Pledge for humanity. Because some stuff obviously you can't take a picture of.
Yeah.
So I want to go through this.
That would be a HIPAA violation. I pledge to help these 3 people who have,
there's lots of
paranoid schizophrenia and live in your communities.
No, I mean, there's a lot of other different mental issues people have. But
I know.
It was right here. Shout out. I'll be volunteering at a local shelter on 12/1 as often as I can afterwards. Take the pledge for humanity. So I just wanted to go through here and,
good job.
and highlight, because this is really cool. This is one thing that I think is really cool about.
Look at that. What was that one? What was that one?
I think it was just somebody who used a bunch of trending stuff. Even school celebrations were not less than grand. Yep, I have no idea what that is. So. There's stickers. That's why I don't click on everything. Anyway. But somebody points out what's pretty interesting about this stuff. What's really cool about this is somebody using a cause like a presidential campaign. Because again, this isn't done by the Yang Gang as a grassroots thing like normally. This is from the campaign itself. I think it's a really cool way to kind of both boost the profile of your support while also just giving back and doing something nice. So I thought it'd be really cool to just go through some of this stuff. See if we can find any more interesting ones, any interesting pictures. But just wanted to tell people, if you didn't know, that's going on. So once again, see if I can pull it up for you guys. It's Pledge for Humanity. All you have to do is take an hour of your time and do something that helps humanity. So
what are we going to do, Cody?
I don't know yet.
What should we do? We should do a 1 hour. We should go.
Honestly, I would like to
record for 30 minutes a video that some 501c3 needs, and then spend 30 minutes editing it and donate it.
That's actually not.
Like for I don't know, like the food pantry in town or something.
I think it'd be offensive to spend a half hour editing a video for someone, but.
Well, okay, you get what I'm saying.
I'm just gonna throw something together really quick for you.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like I said, I know places should probably go pick up trash, but I wanted to show everyone and let everyone know this is going on. Highlight the people on Twitter who are doing stuff. Like I said, the people actually went out, picked up trash, and took pictures of it. I think that's really cool. A lot of other people are just mentioning stuff they will do in the future, or just stuff you can't take pictures of doing. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that was out there. And if anyone else, oh, look at this. Someone said, whoever this is Allison Jones, donating a toy to Toys for Tots.
Oh, rock on. Go, Allison.
Very cool. And again, we get through this. So very cool. I don't want to take too much time talking about
Moana toy. That's a good toy, dude.
But I don't want to take too much time talking about this.
That's a full-size Moana, dude.
I just wanted to let everyone know, if you hadn't already heard about this, this is going on, and it is from the actual Yang campaign, too. So if you do see Pledge for Humanity going around, it's not just some hashtag movement that people have started. The campaign himself launched. I think it's very cool, because Andrew is, obviously, it's not totally selfless. Like, a bunch of Yang supporters doing good things for the community is good press for him. That being said, it is still a really cool thing to motivate your supporters.
I tell you, it beats the crap out of a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Beats the crap out of a bumper sticker.
And someone mentioned something else, by the way, I thought was hilarious. The environmental impact of running for president. What happens when you run for president and you print out a bunch of vinyl bumper stickers, plastic knickknacks and tchotchkes, clothing is not going to get recycled, print it up.
Thought of that.
What happens? Like, what are they going to do? What happened to all of the Carly Fiorina 16 stuff?
It's in a landfill, dog.
Or
they ain't selling that cheese on eBay.
Or they'll do what they do with sports stuff. For example, I don't know if you noticed, when you win the Super Bowl, they already have a shirt printed up that said you won the Super Bowl.
All the time in the dollar store, those show up.
Well, no, because
where it says
because the thing is they print shirts and hats for both
teams. No, I know that.
A lot of the times what they do, though, is they donate them to people like disaster areas. There's a lot of people in Haiti after the earthquake walking around in whoever lost the Super Bowl that year clothing, because they have a lot of it.
Well, you'll see them in the dollar store here too.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
They try not to sell stuff stateside as much, because it's just kind of like, I think it's really cool. I would love a Rams Super Bowl champion shirt from last year's Super Bowl, because they lost, but they try not to sell it stateside as much, because it is goofy. And also, because of the thing, if you're a sports fan, I know that's cool and novel and hip. If you're not, you would just walk by and go, I didn't know the Rams won the Super Bowl last year. You know what I mean?
Like, it would create confusion.
They don't want that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you guys, and by the way, tag us if you're doing anything. Like I said, me and Cardin will probably do something before the 1st on a couple days here to give back as well. Because I definitely think if I'm going to do something to help support a candidate I want to win for presidency, giving back to my community is probably the easiest thing for me to do.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind buying the hats and the bumper stickers and the stuff that's going to, probably, I'm sure whatever factory in China makes these bumper stickers for Tom Steyer is thrilled that they're doing this, but I don't know how great it is for necessarily the world. Anyway, this is a pretty cool way to give back, both the kind of, I think in both ways, because I also think if being a good faith, politically engaged individual in your community is another way of giving back to your community. Because if there's no one who's in good faith engaged in politics, and there's a bunch of bad faith people who want to make themselves more powerful and more wealthy, even on smaller scales, it ruins everything. So that's my long-winded rant about giving back to your community. As someone who, of course, always gives back to my community.
Yeah, I was about going to say, as our shining beacon on the hill.
I could do better, but I'm just saying. I'll admit it. That's
Cody the Oracle.
I'll admit that I don't do enough and could do more. Most people won't. I will.
Hey, the first step is recognition, dog. The first step is recognition. So what are we talking about next? Michael Bloomberg?
No more Bloomberg. Please.
Are you sure?
No
Come
more
on,
Bloomberg.
man. Come on. I love it.
Something a little...
Our girl.
It's not quite Michael Bloomberg, but this is really interesting. So I've noticed it just because I'm a crazy person who reads all the articles and is on Twitter all the time reading about this stuff. But Elizabeth Warren really...
Floundering.
Elizabeth Warren, and I guess I'm not going to bury the lead here. I've showed you guys this on stream, I think in a video yesterday, but the brown line here, it's kind of fitting, is Elizabeth Warren. And I remember on this day, I believe it was right here, I said, okay, this is probably it. Warren is probably passing Bernie right here for the last time. Bernie's probably never going to regain that lead from Warren. They fought for a while, and it's probably... Because you'll notice, for a while, it looked like I was right. And then everybody got to see what Elizabeth Warren, front runner for president, because you'll notice for a brief moment, she briefly leaves Biden. And she has absolutely died in the polls because of it. Now, obviously...
Well, because she started talking and giving explanations for all of her plans.
We'll get into this more.
You'll notice that before she had to talk about how she would actually fund Medicare for all, she was skyrocketing because everybody loves a freebie. Everybody loves... unicorns and ponies until you tell how you're going to get unicorns and ponies.
That's not true, though. That's not true at all. People like Bernie Sanders because he tells them, look, your taxes will go up. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, he's at least authentic about it.
People don't necessarily...
She was all talk and no substance. And as soon as the substance came out, people realized this substance sucks, and then she tanked.
People don't trust her. We'll get into a minute why they don't trust her. People don't trust Elizabeth Warren. They think she's... now, there's the really famous moment. Let's see if I can pull it up for you guys here in a second, where Elizabeth Warren was asked by... Again, I don't want to say a supporter, because I just don't know if she supports Elizabeth Warren, but somebody who was at an Elizabeth Warren event, if her kids went to a private school, and she said no. But her kids did.
Is this lie number 3,627?
Well, this is, by the way, at the, this is late in her absolute just down. I mean, like, she is diving in the polls. It's crazy. Again, she could, of course, rise in the polls again, right? But
the one where she said, I never sent my children to private schools. Oh, I'm a woman of the people. Oh, wait a second.
Well, just watch this video.
I sent my kids to a school that cost $18,000 a year.
Just watch the video right here. Video right here.
Because I read that your children went to private school.
No, my children went to public school.
But you might be your kids because I read that your children went to private school.
No, my children went to public school.
But
no, as far as we could tell. Again, full disclosure, it's the articles from the Federalist. It's not quite the most, Democrat favorable thing.
But I mean, look, if you've got the video there, you've got the picture there. I mean, come on, I don't
Warren
care.
Warren also sent her son to Haverford School in Pennsylvania while she was teaching at the University of Pennsylvania. Okay. So the New York Post reported Warren initially sent her son to a private school in Austin while she was a professor at University of Austin, but then when she was a professor of University of Pennsylvania, he went to school in Pennsylvania. So again, I have to be honest, I don't hate on Elizabeth Warren for sending her kids to private school. It's just weird that, as they mentioned in this article, it really clashes with her stance on academics. It says Warren's fabricated narrative about sending her children to public school is likely because the truth would conflict with her own education policy. Warren has proposed eliminating private and charter schools by diverting their funding to public schools, yet she sent her son to a private school and was an adamant supporter of school choice when she wrote her book, The Two-Income Trap. Warren's flip-flopping stance is likely an attempt to pander to public school activists. Again, people don't trust Elizabeth Warren. This happened a couple days ago when someone sent me this. They don't trust Elizabeth Warren because
she lies about everything. Her problem is a problem that's endemic of the Democrat Party as a whole, in the sense that the grift is running out. Okay? You can't paint, like, we were literally just joking about this yesterday, that you can't paint the opposition party as being, those white racists that live in ivory towers, and then keep being a bunch of white nor'easters that live in ivory towers.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest political donor in California of all of the trade unions and whatnot is LA Unified School District. I mean, the unions elect people here in California, okay? And you can only for so long say, oh, I'm a person of the people, and then live in a private, chateau or penthouse, and then send your kids to a private school before it catches up with
She doesn't
you.
even really claim to be a person of the people either, which I think is another reason why she's not very popular.
I think that's
she
what's
says she wants
inferred
to tax, but no, she
in her attacks on the wealthy.
But it isn't. No, because she doesn't.
She's constantly
She doesn't attack
lampooning
wealthy. She doesn't attack.
She doesn't attack wealthy.
No. Listen to me.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty interesting claim to try
She
and
only
back up
attacks.
that Elizabeth Warren does
She
not
only
attack the
attacks
wealthy.
people richer than her. Sorry, I forgot $12 million is chump change. People were 12. Please, my 12
She's
million.
worth 12, and then her wealth tax kicks in at 17.
50. But my point being is this. She only cares about the rich people that are considerably wealthier than her. There seems to be this interest of, if you're way richer than me, that's a problem. But it's like Elizabeth Warren.
She's pulling a Bernie Sanders 2.0. It's just like Bernie Sanders, who used to condemn millionaires until he became one, and now he condemns billionaires.
But remember, she's worth 6 times more than Bernie Sanders even. Like, she's a wealthy individual who never really claims to be the person of the people. She just says billionaires need to pay more in taxes. The billionaires don't pay enough. It's like, okay, but what about the people making over 10 million, Elizabeth Warren? That's a lot of money.
You don't think
or worth that?
Her
Not
shtick
making
hasn't been
worth
person of
that.
the people. She literally faked an ethnicity of a minority group. She was trying to be person of the people for so much.
No, but she's not. But what I'm saying is this: Elizabeth Warren doesn't paint herself as, I'm Elizabeth Warren. Vote for me because I'm one of you. I'm a person of the people. She doesn't talk like that ever. It's another reason why people don't trust her, because she doesn't even lie and claim to be a person of the people. She talks a lot about the middle class. She talks a lot about how, because what she will talk about. I don't want to be unfair to Elizabeth Warren. She does talk a lot about how she was a single mother and some of the stuff she had to do, how she put herself through school.
Wait, so you think people don't trust
She
her
does
because
talk
she
about-
doesn't claim to be of the people? See, I feel like people don't
Yes.
trust her because she's consistently claiming to be of the people and saying,
doesn't.
see, I'm just like you. I sent my kids to public schools. Oh, wait, no. You didn't. It cost $18,000 a year. And we've got a picture of him in the yearbook of this private school. Oh, no. I'm just like you. Minorities, I know what it's like to be persecuted. In fact, for 20 years, I took awards on behalf of American Indians.
She kind of implies it, like that weird video. But a good example is that video where she like drank the beer. I'm going to go get a beer right now. Everyone's like, that's weird and forced and corny. My point exactly. She doesn't even really lie and try. It's just like this weird forced,
But isn't
corny
that a lie?
show.
Isn't that a lie and a try to force yourself
Well,
to
she's
try and
not-
have a beer
maybe.
on
Maybe it's a good way-
Instagram?
Maybe it's a way of putting it. I just think, like I said, people find her so inauthentic all the time that they don't trust her.
Yeah,
one.
but isn't inauthenticity the basis of the term lie? See, I look at Elizabeth Warren, I
not
just
at
think
all.
liar.
Not at all.
I just think liar. She lies.
But that's not, no. You can be inauthentic and tell the truth. It happens actually a lot. It's all people like that.
Okay, yes. Look, I feel like this is just getting into a semantic argument.
I know,
At the
because
end
you
of the
love
day-
semantic arguments, because you will never back
no,
down
well-
at any point ever until you semantically prove you're correct.
No, that's not true. It's that I am correct most of the time.
There we go. There we
And
go. And
you-
moving
you'll
on.
come around.
Moving
No,
on.
I'm just-
Moving on.
Okay.
I wanted to point out something again, because again, we've talked a lot about Elizabeth Warren. I want to get into some of the articles I pulled up to
I
talk
should know
about
she was
this.
your girl so much. You're pretty defensive of Elizabeth Warren. No.
You know what? You were actually talking about the other day why I would defend Warren. Anyway, Warren drops in the polls can simply reflect the travails of a frontrunner whose numbers drop in the face of scrutiny, but then bounce back. Biden went through that cycle in recent months, losing ground to Warren in national polls before bounding. She says, we're in this race to build a grassroots movement for big structural change, or Warren's Iowa spokesperson, James Noble said. That's what we're doing and we'll continue to do. The results of the latest flagship Iowa poll released earlier this month are perhaps the most telling sign of a shift for Warren. She fell by 6 points, the first time since December 18 that her numbers declined in a quarterly survey. Buttigieg is in the lead, with Warren, Sanders, and Biden essentially tied for second, which is. Dynamics in Iowa are a microcosm of the senator's national struggles. In the National Quinnipiac poll released Tuesday, Warren plummeted to 14%, down from 28.
That's
It's
rough.
That's a 50% decrease,
That
right?
is rough.
When she led the organization's poll. The Tuesday survey also found that support for Medicare for All dropped to 36 from 43 in March.
So
Now-
she's struggling.
Not only is she struggling, Warren did not air TV ads in Iowa until this month. While she was dark, Buttigieg supported more than $2 million in TV spots that went after Medicare for All, saying he would not dictate people's health insurance choices. Additionally, they go down a little bit, and this is where I really, really want to talk about a little bit here, is oh, sorry, it's a little bit higher. Apologize for that. Is when they're talking about Elizabeth Warren, one of the interesting things happening right here is the only conversation happening among undecided caucus goers is about healthcare. The thing about Iowa we're known for is being an agricultural state, but we're one of the insurance capitals of the world. I think people are more detail-oriented and policy-oriented in Iowa because a significant amount of our workforce is in the insurance industry. Why is that important? Because some Democrats expressed concern that Warren, however, unfairly, has been hurt by her embrace of Medicare for all, including her initial refusal to say whether it would mean a middle-class tax increase. Going back to what you were speaking about, listen to this.
Yeah, her lies about
Then the
costs
$20.5 trillion healthcare proposal Warren rolled out earlier this month only invited more questions, and she responded unevenly, making uncharacteristic gaffes when trying to explain it. In Iowa earlier this month, she said only billionaires' taxes would go up to pay for Medicare for all, but her plan stated otherwise. A few days later in Raleigh, North Carolina,
all lies.
Warren said that
forensically a lie.
A few days later in Raleigh, North Carolina, Warren said that immigration reform would bring in $2 trillion to help fund single-payer health care. But her plan estimated it would generate $400 billion. Her campaign had to clarify both remarks. So, clearly, in an area like Iowa where they're interested in healthcare, she's going to struggle. So again, this article is mostly focused on Elizabeth Warren losing her mojo in Iowa, but that's not the only thing I want to talk about. More people are taking notice of what's going on with Elizabeth Warren. We have another article here I found in the Washington Post that says, what happened to Elizabeth Warren? This is one of those headlines in a few months after for Elizabeth Warren may screenshot and abandoned fundraising emails. Remember when they wrote us off? So he goes on. This is my least favorite part of any article where they're filling. Anyway, this is what I want to show you guys. So they'll show you kind of what I showed you, the polling average for the National Democratic primary, where Warren is just absolutely, she was a rising star and it's just been really, really struggling the last little bit. I mean, you'll notice she's almost mirroring Harris as far as rising and falling. It's really bad. However, in this thing, they noticed something that's really interesting. They talk about the Quinnipiac poll. So Warren slips from a clear first at the end of October to a tie for third. Biden regained his lead. We took a bit more of a look when the shifts began by demographic. Here's the age, ideology, income, and race. Take a look. Now, I believe, going back up here to find the key for this, Warren would be this kind of dark red line. And you'll notice, among very liberal, she took a very big drop. Among the moderate,
because she had to start
she
spiking.
took a big drop.
She had to start explaining herself.
My point being is the moderates is where she fell off a cliff. Because going from almost 50 to 32 is bad, right? Going from 7 to 20 back to 5 is terrible. I mean, basically, it's you almost had them. It was almost like she had the Iowa moderates fooled for a minute, and then no, not anymore. And then we'll also notice here.
That's like a con man.
By
whose con
ethnicity,
gets
it does the
figured out.
same thing, but you'll notice it's the same little plateau and flatline, plateau and flatline, plateau and flatline. That's got to be Biden, isn't it? The line that's off the chart. And then once again, age even. So there's the thing that's scary for Elizabeth Warren here. There's no demographic she can really pin this recent fall on. It's everything. It doesn't matter the race, doesn't matter your ideology, doesn't matter your income level. You don't like Elizabeth Warren as much as you did just a few weeks ago. And that is not very good at all for Elizabeth Warren. So the biggest thing is here, and the guy even mentions it here at the bottom. He says the most important caveat here is only to begin with. The field is awfully fluid. Plenty of time for Warren to have a second surge, as Buttigieg did. Plenty of time for her team to print out this article and use it as an example of the short-sighted punditry of the chattering class. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I had this over here the whole time. Anyway, point being, there's a lot of people talking about Elizabeth Warren starting to fall in the polls. Doesn't mean she is done. Doesn't mean her campaign's over. But like I said, we're going to go through and look at these graphs again. This line's Warren. This dark red line's Elizabeth Warren. The one that just is noticeably taking a massive hit in seemingly every demographic here. I mean, we noticed.
Well, she peaked early because she's been
big hit.
She's been calling herself the "I have a plan for that" candidate, and when all of a sudden the "I have a plan for that" candidate was forced to explain what her plan is, people started analyzing it. Didn't check out.
Well, speaking of having a plan for that, if you're Elizabeth Warren and you are finding yourself recede from national frontrunner to maybe also ran, maybe Bernie just kind of re-wins, because Bernie and Warren have a lot of similar, I would say a lot of their policies start in similar places and kind of go.
Yeah, Frederick Engels' writings of the 1920s.
Oh my God. No, but they both propose a wealth tax. They disagree on the numbers. They both propose some form of single payer. They disagree on the numbers, right? They're both similar there. I think someone wins that war. But Elizabeth Warren, clearly struggling, who needs to do something to really reconnect with voters. And again, I showed you, it's not any particular demographic she has to reconnect with. Voters in general want to hear more from Elizabeth Warren. So I just went to look, what is Elizabeth Warren talking about? What is she rolling out? Now, the first thing I want to get off and talk about this. Nothing against Elizabeth Warren for wanting to, if we gave medals of honor to people who did something bad, not something good, I'm totally for taking those medal of honors back, especially if it's for an incident 150 years ago. It's not, this is not that controversial. However, one,
What are you doing?
I believe Elizabeth Warren's been in Senate for a very long time, because I want to highlight something here. By the way, the Wounded Knee Massacre, one of the deadliest attacks on Native American people by the United States military, took place December 29th, 1890. Amid a crackdown on the religious movement called the Ghost Dance, U.S. troops arrested a Lakota leader, Chief Bigfoot, and confined him and his people to a camp in South Dakota. When they were asked to surrender their weapons, a gun went off and soldiers opened fire. More than 300 Lakota Sioux are thought to have been killed. We were talking about this before the thing, and just to end the debate, I guess, Congress formally apologized in 1990. No, it didn't provide any reparations. It formally apologized. So essentially, Elizabeth Warren is asking Senate, which she's been a part of, I believe, for a while, to step up, I guess, and bring these 20...
Wants to revoke the
20
medals of honor.
However, this is what I want to highlight. Again, it's not a totally ignoble goal. I don't disagree with it. I'm not gonna protest against this. But Elizabeth Warren's presidential campaign's floundering. Every demographic she's taking a massive hit in, and digging up 150-year-old, like, this is the reason I want to highlight this is why people say these people do nothing in Senate when they aren't running for president and they can just comfortably be in Senate or Congress or wherever for 15 years, they don't do anything. Now she's running for president. Oh, we got to make sure we do this. Okay. Congress apologized 30 years ago. It feels like the kind of shameless knee-jerk pander move you make to try to get your name in the press. Because it's a pretty... I said, I'm not a Warren supporter, and I'm not going to push back on her for doing this. I'll say, sure, if we shouldn't have given the medals of honor 100 years ago, we can rescind them now. I don't care, but what a weird thing to go into when your campaign's floundering, right?
Yeah, and it to me, it just adds to the inauthenticity, and it makes people think that she's a liar, just because, Elizabeth, why, when people still thought you had Native American heritage in you, and you were still bamboozling and conning the American people into thinking that you were part, albeit 1024th or whatever you claimed, part Native American, wouldn't that have been even more of a reason for you to pick up this banner and run with it? But since you didn't while you were in the Senate, it makes me think that this is just a really super de-duper shameless ploy to try and traffic in the misery of the Lakota Sioux for a great injustice that was done to them. Yeah. I mean, if Mormons still remember the Hans Mill massacre, all right, nearly 200 years after it happened, as a defining moment in the persecution of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I can guarantee you that the Sioux still are angry and sensitive to the Wounded Knee Massacre. And yes, I think more needs to be done. But why don't you care about things until you're getting elected? There's this politician that is technically a member of our church, but we have this joke. How do you know when it's election season? Oh, because this person is showing up to church. You know what I'm saying? That's literally a joke in our congregation. That's when you know election season's coming up, because a certain somebody starts showing up again. Okay. And it's because it's close to election season. And we can see right through it. You can see right through it. It makes me think not only is she shameless and dishonest, but she thinks the people she's lying to are stupid. One of the best memes I've ever seen in my life about parenting is a meme that I saw yesterday where the woman posted this graphic that says, the older I get, the more stupid I realize my lies as a child to my parents looked. You know what I'm saying? Because as a parent, you can start seeing right through your kids are like, I didn't do anything. You know, we can see straight through Elizabeth Warren. And the fact that she keeps trying to portray herself as a person of the people, especially the disenfranchised American Indian people, I have no patience for these people. I made a little graphic for you.
I saw
my analog meme. Did you like that?
Analog memes. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, like I said, I thought it was interesting pointing out that a lot of people are noticing that Elizabeth Warren's struggling. Again, it seems to be across demographics. And yeah, it's just, what's a response to this? I'm going to do this bill I probably could have released over the last 6 years she's been in Senate. By the way, somebody in Congress put this bill forward in July. So it's like, it does feel like the kind of thing where it's like, this is Elizabeth Warren's big move right now. Is she's going to do something. She's going to introduce a bill into Senate that's already been introduced by Congress. That's about a 150-year massacre, which, by the way, as I've said multiple times, I have no problem with doing. I just feel like maybe that's the kind of stuff you should be doing when you're a senator and not when you're running for president. Because it feels a little less hollow when you're a senator doing your job saying, hey, look, I'm up here in Senate to make sure stuff like this doesn't be forgotten. That is a much better sell than I'm running for president and just happen to be doing this PR layup bill. I don't know. I don't want to get, again, I spent more time talking about it than I wanted to, but that's it. So before I wrap up for the day, there's one thing I wanted to show you guys.
Hit it.
I like to highlight when candidates do good stuff on social media, I like to highlight it. So one of my dark horse 2020 candidates once again returned to Twitter and posted a video, and I want to highlight the latest John Delaney video. So Mr. John Delaney said
is he a presidential candidate, or is he just doing an infomercial now for like Total Gym 2020?
Well, we'll check it out. And listen. So this is John Delaney right here. We'll check him out.
Candidates should be rolling out their platforms, which I did.
Kind of quiet.
30-minute
but
documentary. Check it out at johndelaney.com.
That's all I was got to say. And then he doesn't talk anymore, so it's just, and there we go.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah, man just hammers him out there. It was a good form.
Dude, that is hardcore, man.
Yeah. So hopefully, maybe what Elizabeth Warren needs to do is surge in the polls, is do some ab rollers and show people she's in good shape too. Maybe she'll take a page to a Bernie Sanders book and throw in a layup or a free throw from 5 feet away in a basketball hoop. Bernie loves doing that.
Dude,
But
he's still going, bro. I could do like 2 of those.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Man, Delaney, my man.
So
Delaney, my
I just
man.
want to make sure, because also, my man John Delaney also got no credit recently when an article came out in Forbes, I believe it was. Now, in this Forbes article, they were talking about the rich billionaire entrepreneur businessmen that are running for president. People like Michael Bloomberg, people like Tom Steyer, and people like Andrew Yang, which I thought was really weird because we were talking about earlier, Andrew Yang is worth less money than like Bernie Sanders. He's worth less money than Elizabeth Warren's husband, who I don't think is like some like billionaire entrepreneur guy. I think like they mostly have shared income. Like he's not worth that much money. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, they want to paint him as the billionaire business guy. And it's really weird to me because who they omitted in that article, the reason why I'm bringing it up, they omitted John Delaney from the article.
Oh.
Like John Delaney's worth so much more money than Andrew Yang is worth. He's worth like literally like $300 million.
Hashtag let Delaney speak. Let Delaney speak.
Just acknowledge him. Don't even let him speak. Just acknowledge that he exists. I think Delaney just wants like a wave sometimes, a nod. Just don't worry, Delaney. We know you're real. We know you're actually running for president, man. Like don't.
Hey, whose hat is that? Who got the Problem Solver Politics hat?
I'm gonna give one more shout out. So this will be a shout out to our friend Sam B over there at Wired.
Woo!
There we go. At Wired Mindset, he got a hat as well. So
rock on.
Very cool. Shout out to you guys. So that's it for today, guys. Anything else you have to say, Card?
Just I can't believe people still consider Elizabeth Warren a candidate and believe a word that's coming out of her mouth. That's all I got to say about that. If we're wrong, please let us know in the comments below. If you guys want to contribute to the channel, there's a PayPal link that's in this video. You can donate straight to the channel directly, or you can be like Sam, pick up a hat on problemsolverpolitics.com. And no matter what, make sure you give us a call and you leave us a voicemail. We always love responding to voicemails at 1-833-PSP-RADIO. That's 1-833-PSP-RADIO. Other than that, I think we're good, my man.
Oh, one last thing. I didn't know about this. There's no calendar. I guess we're not Facebook friends. But shout out to our good friend, Paget KG. It's her birthday today. So shout out, Paget. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Paget.
Enjoy your 22nd birthday. Hope you have a lot of fun. And that is all, man. That's all I got for today.
All right. This is Problem Solver Politics. See you in the next video.